Grey Cup champion with the Toronto Argonauts in the Canadian Football League. He plays fullback. Declan Cross joining us on the phone now. Declan, thank you so much for joining us in the Parkland on health, wellness, and you. I know you're a big proponent of having routine in our lives and that kind of keeping everything on track. Can we start off by tell me a bit about how this COVID situation has affected your ability to stay connected with your mental and physical health?
When COVID started in March, obviously all the gyms were shut down. And then about a month later, the Argos opened up their facilities. So I was able to go in there for an hour every other day and get some work in there. And then that progressed until they canceled the CFL season in August. And then once that happened, that coincided with my usual weightlifting gym opening up here in Oakville. And then I was able to mix that in with some good life and just go back and forth. So I've had to adapt by basically, instead of going to one location every day and training for several hours, I go to several different locations and I train for an hour at each of them. And I would imagine that's a similar story to a lot of people who used to work, by going into an office for several hours a day, and afterwards they found that they were partitioning their day up because the kids are home and they have to spend hours here and there. So basically it was just finding out ways to adapt my schedule to still be able to make the positive gains I want to make, but, to account for the times that we're living in as well.
Declan Cross, fullback for the Toronto Argonauts, with us on the phone. Declan, we are in Blue Bomber country. You've called into Blue Bomber country, so I want to ask, as a 2017 Grey Cup champion, you had that big breakout performance. Of course, the Bombers taking home the Grey Cup in 2019. Do you have any memories? Do you have any good Winnipeg Blue Bomber stories? Have you had a good game against the local football club here? Have maybe you fumbled the ball on the goal line? I think that would maybe make our listeners a bit happier.
Oh man, I just know that every time we play in Winnipeg, there's going to be action, and especially for Canadians, because I'm a fullback, but as a Canadian with big body Canadian, I'm a teamer. I'm a special teamer as well. And when we go to Winnipeg, it's a special teams battle 10 times out of 10. So, going there, I just remember in the locker room before a game talking to teammates, being like, hey, $100 a tackle, or we're just making little things that are interesting, because the special teams part of the game against Winnipeg is so much fun, and that's always just something they bring to another level. So that's one of my favorite parts about playing Winnipeg, is the guaranteed teams battle that we're going to have. But beyond that, I just got to say a quick shout out to my boys on Winnipeg. I'm so proud of them, and I'm so happy that they won that Grey Cup. And it's just amazing, because you don't even know if you're going to get a chance to play in a Grey Cup game, let alone win a Grey Cup. So I'm so happy that they were able to do that, and just shout out to them for their effort.
All right, obligatory football talk out of the way for now. Back to the topic of health now. We're having to adapt and cope to so many changes in our life right now. Maybe not able to see friends and family as much as we'd like to, having difficulties staying active, connected to our physical health. Can you talk a bit about your view on how these different areas of our health are all connected, and perhaps how we can, what we can do to get them all in alignment as best we can?
That's true. The physical part of a lot of people's lives has been immediately altered. And then what you said there about friends and family, that's a big alteration as well. It's affecting people's psyche, because people aren't exercising as much. People aren't seeing their friends and family as much, and that can weigh on you. I think that something that helps me personally is just to try to find a balance between the different parts of what make you you. We have physical strength, we have mental strength, we have spiritual strength. And I think that you can find this balance in these examples of all three of them whenever you're doing anything. If you're feeling sad, let's say, and you exercise, you feel better. Well, why does this physical thing make a change in your mind, in your mental? There's a balance to be had with everything. So I think that in my experience anyways, I know that I was able to find balance in my life by just focusing on what I was doing and looking for where those mental strengthening and that spiritual strengthening and physical strengthening ties in.
I think it's so important right now to find ways to cope with the stress and anxiety of the situation, dealing with being alienated from our regular routine, having to regularly adjust to new rules and ways that we're advised to go about living our life. Do you think it's okay right now to find ourselves a little off balance?
100%, Maddie. I'll start off with a story, actually. In my first year of college, I went to McMaster University, and I played football there, and we had our head coach, Stefan Potasic. And I went into his office sometime in my first year. I was frantically walked in, and I said, "Coach, I don't know if I'm progressing the way I need to progress. I don't know if I'm doing the right things. You played professionally. How do I know I'm even doing the right things here? I want to be doing everything right." And I was freaking out, and I was flustered, and his words were basically, "It's not about what you're doing. It's just that you're doing it." And that helped simplify it for me. And I think that that's something that we can carry through this time as well, is to not overthink things, to not complicate things more than they need to be. It's just about doing something that's positive, that's going to help you get on that path of doing more positive things. That's really what it's all about, Maddie.
Declan, as a professional athlete, we know your physical health, such a major point of emphasis for you. Can you offer us any suggestions on how we can get a better handle on our physical health?
One of my favorites is probably just to get outside, Matt. Like get outside, get in the fresh air and get moving. Go for a walk. Go for a walk at night. Go for a walk 20 minutes a day. Get the blood pumping. If you have stairs in your area, climb up and down those stairs. Doing something outside is awesome. And I like being outside just because it kind of encourages you to start breathing. And when you start getting those deep breaths happening, and while you're exercising, you start to feel better. Your mind starts to function a little better. You get the oxygen in there. So if there's something that, you might not have access to all the facilities or all the dumbbells and weight equipment, no problem. You can go outside, do some lunges, go for a walk, do something to get the blood pumping. But, like I was saying about Coach Potasic and saying that it's not about what you're doing, it's just that you're doing it. Don't overthink it. If you're outside and you're sweating, you're breathing, then you're doing something good. So, that's what I would say is to just look for opportunities to work. Look for opportunities to, earn your work and earn your rest. And just to add on to that, if you do something positive, like go outside, go for a walk for 20 minutes, you do that once. If you make the conscious decision to do that the following day and the day after that and the day after that, you start to develop other parts of your life. You start to develop conviction. You start to develop discipline. You start to develop these things that you're just going for a walk, but you're actually helping yourself in your path of betterment as well. So there's all these things that come together to help you when you just consistently do something good. Just make good, healthy choices consistently.
Declan Cross from the Toronto Argonauts. What has been the most important thing that you've incorporated into your life during the pandemic to stay on track, stay on point?
Make a list. The biggest thing that I've done for my head, like you said, headspace throughout the day is to have a list of what I'm going to do each day in sequential order. So that, you ever play the game The Sims? Where you take these little people and you basically, if you want to make them live their life, right? But the way you do it is you sequence their actions at the bottom of the screen there. So you'll click your character and you'll say like bathroom, shower, food, workout. And then he'll go bathroom, shower, food, workout. I basically start my day by just taking out, it's a little app on my phone, but it's just a list. I write down everything I'm doing that day. It's usually already written down, and I just reorder it, and then I start my day. And just having that check of what's next, for me, it helps keep me focused, and it helps keep the distractions away too. Because there's always distractions in your life. There's people asking for things, there's people talking, there's all these things that you're dealing with. If you have a list and you just go task for task for task for task, it helps you to just keep things laser focused. Put the blinders on. You just get what you need done. So that's what I would say. I'd say make a list, order the list, follow through with the list.
Declan, you're a Grey Cup winning fullback with the Toronto Argonauts, and you're also, more importantly, a phenomenal dude. Thank you so much for your time. We're looking forward to seeing you at that next Argos Blue Bombers game, hopefully sooner rather than later, eh? Oh,
I appreciate you, Maddie. Thank you so much for having me on. Thank you so much for talking about health and just positivity with me. You're amazing, and I wish you the best.